We are live.
Okay. Give me just a moment to tweet this sucker out. Boop. Okay, I think we are good. Oh. All right, well, welcome back, everyone. When we last left off, finished a game of Monopoly with the Changeling, who is the radio star Lawrence Carter in Velda City, for his not golden statue, his statue of a fox. Although you unfortunately lost the round of Monopoly due to some open conversation between the party and the gentleman in question, you have found a mutual dislike for Albert Sweet, Paul Hill, and the rest of the surviving Order of the Lapine. And in doing so, Lawrence Carter has offered his assistance not only in gifting you the statue of the fox, but to help you get the final key to the golden rabbit, which is the statue of a sparrow that is in the possession of Albert Sweet. And we last left off with the party and Lawrence Carter in his posh, strangely decorated apartment, coming up with a cunning plan in which to infiltrate the Sweet estate, retrieve the statue, and perhaps get a little bit of comeuppance to the wicked man, who is now deceased, by the way. So now when I was talking with you guys here before we got started with the session, you guys were giddily going through some possibilities in which to do this. Do you want me to take lead and throw in some suggestions Lawrence Carter might have, or do you guys want to take the lead and get the ball rolling?
What? I'm kind of thinking you should toss in the ideas and bring
Yeah,
ours.
we'll just add it into what we have.
All right. Well, Lawrence Carter, drinking his second glass of wine, the statue of a fox firmly over top the chessboard that's back in the middle table of his kind of sitting area, the game of Monopoly put back in its original box and shuffled off away further into his apartment, would cross his arms and, now back in the form of Lawrence Carter, would say, well, regardless, even as myself, poking around Albert Sweet's estate would be relatively risky. The family, whatever family he does have, and friends are going to be in mourning, probably unaware of what a wicked bastard the man was. However, says Lawrence, quirking his brow and with a wry smile, I can think of one occasion that a large gathering would be going on in his estate very soon, if what the papers have to say is true. His funeral. It's going to be the day after, well, tomorrow, he says, or in about an hour from now, tomorrow will be today. But it's Tuesday today. His funeral is going to be Thursday. Paul Hill's funeral, since being a mayor and whatnot, has been delayed a little bit longer for other dignitaries to show up. But I imagine the Albert Sweet funeral is going to be quite the how to do and a good opportunity to infiltrate his estate. What do you think about that?
That seems like a very interesting idea.
Now, there's only one tiny hitch to that. I can take the guise of anybody, really. So that's not much of a problem. For you to head into the estate, and I would need your assistance. His place is very, very large, and who knows what kind of hidden crevices and nooks and crannies he might have. So the more people we have looking, the better. Although we don't want too large of a force to draw suspicion, I'm thinking about 4 or 5 individuals would be more than enough. A good balance between a small group and enough eyes to go on looking. The only question is you, false ferocious 5 or not, might be recognized, even if you put on a decent disguise. You can't change. There's certain things about your physiques you just cannot change. And if someone gets up and close to you, a disguise might be detected. So I guess my first question is do you know anyone high up, whether they are leaders in business, in city politics, in any sort of authority that might show up to Albert Sweet's estate, that they would recognize you, they know you from face to face?
Well, we have the chief of police.
Arthur Greene, yeah, I reckon he would probably notice you. He's seen your face, though? He knows who you are?
Yep.
He knows who we are, but he thinks that we're the Ferocious 5.
Oh,
And
At least he's pretending.
With that, he has also given us a bit of leeway to... Well, he's charged us with the investigation into the murders.
Really? Says Lawrence Carter, leaning back. He says, well, then I imagine you could create quite the distraction to ensure he doesn't show up at the funeral. And therefore, no one would be able to recognize you from anybody else. We could come up with long stories of you being long-lost relatives or friends of associates or business contacts. In a time of mourning and funeral, no one really scrutinizes who the people are, especially if they don't act in a suspicious way and are earnestly concerned about the bereaved.
Well, we could possibly even come up with a cover story of we own the Rhapsody. We're thinking of diversifying our funds and thinking of investing into the mining corporation.
Yes, but funerals aren't typically where people meet each
Well,
other for business.
No, I'm thinking we can say that was why we knew him, and we would want to pay our respects.
I would recommend, in case anything goes pear-shaped, says Lawrence Carter, you use fake names.
That's fair.
I would like to posit an idea, a possible alternative. A funeral is, trying to find evidence or plant evidence or anything of that nature while there are tons of people there is far more difficult. After the funeral, on another day, it might be possible if we talk to the police chief, tell them that we suspect that Sweet may have been involved in the murder. He might be able to get us access in there when there's no eyes looking.
How would the
That's
police
true,
chief get you access into his estate, and how would you plant the evidence so quickly? I like your idea, but wouldn't it make more sense to go to the funeral, plant the evidence, wait a few days later, and then call the chief of police?
Yes, that is true as well. Just tricky when there's so many people there.
Actually, I find the exact opposite, says Lawrence Carter with a smile. I'm used to dealing with people and pretending to be other people, as you can imagine, and crowds muddle people's minds quite greatly. People get lost in crowds, people get confused, people are pulled away for social engagements. It's not a problem. And the best thing is that if one or two of us would get caught going somewhere we weren't supposed to in the estate, we can say we were either racked with grief or distracted and we were just looking for the bathroom. That would be much less suspicious than in the middle of the night or a few days later where the family members of Albert's suite come across strangers. the funeral is a perfect example why strangers would be at least on the property. It's true, though, if we do anything overtly suspicious, we have more witnesses, but the key thing is to just not do anything overtly suspicious. Just look and listen and prod, right? We're not going to be planting a bomb, are we?
No.
That wouldn't
Well, then
be
we
the
have nothing to
plan.
worry about. We're here to find out information. More specifically, we're here to find. We're going to be there to find your little statue, right?
That's true.
So, says Lawrence Carter, I do love the idea of planting evidence. So what evidence shall we plant on the now deceased Mr. Sweet?
I mean, like we mentioned before, we were tasked with trying to find the murder of, or the murderer of, not Mr. Sweet, but the mayor, Mr. Hill. What if... Well, are you able to imitate voices?
Of course. I wouldn't be much of a changeling if I could only pretend to have a physical exterior. My vocal cords change as well. It takes me a little bit of practice if it's someone I've never done before, but of course it's possible.
Well, how would you like to do some kind of role-play theater type thing where you play Mr. Albert Sweet, and one of us, because we have a device that does something sort of similar, plays the role of Mr. Hill, and we incriminate each other. And the story could be something along the lines of we each hired, we were business partners and whatnot of a criminal organization, and we each hired bounty hunters to kill each other.
Though this would hinge on, I'm sorry, you're more familiar with this time than we are. Are there such things as personal recording devices or devices that could record such a conversation?
The only recording things are in studios, like WKRP.
Shit.
So, unfortunately, your idea of having some sort of vocal recording wouldn't cut the mustard, as we say here. However, that isn't to say other correspondence can't be faked. Letters are very popular. We just need to find someone who's good at forgery if none of you have that skill. And the best thing is that if this person who's particularly good at forgery were to find some authentic documents of Albert Sweet, I imagine faking his writing style would be all the more easier.
That's true.
And I'm sure his estate has all sorts of letters.
His estate or the mining company?
Oh, yes, I imagine his office would be as well.
Mm-hmm.
So do any of you have the capacity in which to forge a letter or two?
Not I, unfortunately. It's not a skill that I am good with.
Not really, no. I'm better with drawing.
I'm still getting a grip on my own script.
I see. Well, I'm sure you ferocious lot have connections to the underground, the ones you kept alive, right?
True.
Well, I mean, we're not, though. Hang on, real quick before I say this. We've told him who
he
we
knows.
are. Yeah,
he's saying it. He's saying palpably. You know what I mean? Yeah,
right. Yeah, I would say, well, unfortunately, since we're not the real Ferocious Five, the only people we know that we can rely on are our own group, and I don't know anyone in our group that has a forgery skill.
You forget we also made a really good friend when we first came here. Somebody that tried to fight with us over territory.
That is true. And they do
goons.
seem to be into such kinds of things.
Perfect. Then, I suggest we do a little dress rehearsal before the actual funeral itself. I'll go out tomorrow, and I'll head over to his mining office, and I'll see if I can't procure some correspondence written in Albert Sweet's hand. I'll meet you later, give it to you, you can give it to your forger, and we can create some fake letters that implicate an assassination attempt or hiring assassins to kill Paul Hill due to political shenanigans and all that silliness. It is true, Albert Sweet and Paul Hill did butt heads more than a few times, them being both in high positions of power, so it's not unreasonable.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all for this.
Wonderful.
I'm trying to think if there's just anything like, and this is out of character. I'm trying to think if there's anything more substantial that or anything else that we can do to add to it. It seems like putting a lot of eggs in one basket to try and go for just letters alone.
Yeah, but it's the best we can do, I think. Like, it's
the best I'm thinking of right now. There's got to be something else. We start with
question.
that and then...
Question. Did I remember our guys staked out the cemetery and watched for Verasimov and Paul Hill and Albert Sweet? They didn't get any pictures, did they?
No.
Damn.
Yeah, pictures are very hard in this time.
Yeah.
You have to stand and pose for quite some time, chum.
So, thank goodness this is out of character because it's really hard to talk straight right now. So, Squee, if you want any sort of backup from that, besides the natural, like, hey, they're already kind of butting heads and whatnot, I mean, we always have, what's his name? The detective man who's been helping us.
Dex Delaney.
Dex Delaney. He was going to start spreading a rumor for the most part, and we told him to not do that anymore. And if you need some word of mouth or another sort of hand to see what they can grab, there's that guy.
Yeah, that's probably the other easiest form of communication in here. Not voice recordings, but word of mouth. Because there was a paper that was saying that it was an ex-lover that had him killed.
Yeah, that's the current theory, but who knows who leaked that or if that's just a bunch of hogwash.
Yeah, that's true. But we could start spreading rumors.
Sure, rumors stick. Rumors are a dime a dozen here in Velda City. Lawrence Carter says, it's too bad I can't split into two and take the form of Paul Hill and Albert Sweet. Otherwise, I could post whatever photos you want to take.
Wait, but we might be able to do that.
Right, yeah, we might be able to do that. We have another magical
I would
device.
look around and he'd start looking for who of us has the most similar body type to one of those two.
Paul Hill was quite rotund, so none of you. Albert Sweet was in his 50s. He was about as thin as a string bean, though. So it would not as thin as a string bean, but he was thin and tall. So the closest to that would be Lavin or Al. Maybe Patrick.
Because we have the hairpin.
Yeah, exactly.
True. You'd have to dress up as Albert Sweet, though.
True. And we would have to maybe do some tomfoolery with the photographs, maybe make it partially obscured so that mainly what you catch is his face and not all of his body. That would pull it off better.
True. Of course, out of character, too, I might remind you, with a high enough photography skill, even in older photographs, you can do some crazy shenanigans by, like, taking two subjects and, like, kind of blending them together and to make it look like they're in the same scene. So maybe if you want super realism, You could have Lawrence Carter look like Albert Sweet, take a couple photos, have him look like Paul Hill, take a couple photos, and then have a photographer work their magic and try to make it look like
Oh,
they're in the picture
wow.
together.
That sounds real good. Would you be down for that, Piph? For
Yeah.
trying that out?
Sure, it's a significant. It would be a tricky skill to do, especially with the new technology. But it's definitely possible. Patrick is skilled enough to do it.
So, okay. And why not have a photo shoot where we try both? And then we have that as our plan A. And if that doesn't work, then at least we have the plan B photo.
Plan B, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Let's spend
Okay.
some time doing that.
So then Lawrence Carter would ask, shall he, once he drops off the, sample correspondence of Albert Sweet to probably the Rhapsody, is there you'll get together in cahoots and take some photos?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it
what's up
sounds like we have a plan, says, I almost said Albert Sweet, says Lawrence Carter, smiling like the fox that's in the statue before him. I can't promise exactly what time I'll be there, but I'm assuming you'll be around your little nightclub?
Yeah, we live
Yes.
upstairs.
Okay.
Oh, though we should point out that whatever we do, we need to be done with it by Monday.
Not a problem, he says. This will only take a few days, so that shouldn't be much of an issue. Lawrence Carter says, and one heads up, since we're doing something far, far, far under the radio, when I arrive at the Rhapsody, I'm not going to look like this. I'll look like something different, but I'll let you know I'm me once the coast is clear.
Okay.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay.
Just be careful.
Lawrence Carter gives a robust laugh at that. He says, I've lived here for centuries. You're the newcomers sticking your necks out for God knows what reason. If anyone should be careful, it's you. I'll be just fine.
I will not debate that argument. Just concerned is all.
Yeah. I guess the concern would be touching. And Lawrence Carter gives a bit of a shrug, and then he stands up, offers a final nightcap for any of you before he escorts you out of his apartment. To the Rhapsody, then, my friends.
Yes.
Okay. As you get in your vehicles and head back towards the Rhapsody, going through the streets of Velda City, it's approaching 10:30 p.m. after the games and the talk with Lawrence Carter. It's reaching the rip-roaring time in Velda City, where a lot of nightclubs and bars breathe to life, and people are starting to get intoxicated on the street. As you approach the main street, over to where the Rhapsody is, you notice something extremely peculiar. There's no line in front of the Rhapsody. Bear and Morgan McLaughlin aren't outside as boxers. The dazzling lights lighting up the sign of the Rhapsody are all turned off. And it's dark inside.
Well, that's not
Should
good.
be,
Yeah,
it
that's
should
not
be
good.
open. You had it open for business. You were planning on having it open for business with all your friends and compatriots.
I feel like this has something to do with that guy who poisoned me.
Possibly. Let's head inside. Figure this shit out.
Yeah.
So
So
you want to
I-
head through the front door?
No, Al certainly wouldn't.
No, let's head through the back door, through the kitchen.
Sure, there is a back entrance to the Rhapsody. Sure, yeah. You're all gonna just go through that back entrance?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Any
Sure.
particular way or anything like that? You're just gonna open up the door and go in and see what's up? You
Yeah,
can say
I mean-
yes. I just want to make sure I'm not
yeah. No, I'm considering debating, but yeah, honestly, I think that if something is wrong, speed might be as important as caution here. So yeah.
Fair enough. So you carefully open through the back exit, back alley entrance to the Rhapsody Club and your apartment above. And you hear in the distance, far towards where kind of the bandstand is, you're backstage right now. Back behind the actual bandstand to where the little green rooms are and Ellie's dressing room. The stairs to the next floor are, a few feet away. But the sound you hear is this big, deep, bellowing voice near the center of the Rhapsody dance floor that says, "You think you're pretty smart, huh? Well, we'll see how smart you are when rest come." To that, you hear the babbling voice of August Keach exclaiming that, "We have absolutely no idea what you're talking about. Shut it, sweetheart. Time for talking's done. We're going to wait for your friends to show up. Then we'll listen to some talk." That was a feminine voice with a very strong accent.
Oh. Okay, well, so there's nothing wrong. They just haven't opened yet. That's fine. I'm definitely going to suggest at least one of us turn invisible. Give me a second. I'm looking at my spell to see if it's just me or if I can do it to others by touch. Because I was thinking, like, some of us turn invisible, others walk in and, find out what's going on. And then if they try anything funny, we have a few people in place to counteract that. Make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Invisibility. Self only. Well,
Yep.
poop.
Mhm.
Well, I can go invisible.
Heads up, you haven't said or spoken yet. You haven't spoken anything yet. But casting a spell, remember, you don't have to do it in a shouting voice, but you can't do it in a
Right.
whisper either.
No, I would definitely have to back up until I'm sure that I could do so safely because
You'll have to do it back out in the alleyway then, to
right.
be sure, or up the stairs a few times.
Either way, I would put safety first in that regard of
right.
I would back out as far as needed because what's the point of going invisible if they?
I'm just giving you a heads up. So
Understood.
when you're ready to go, just let me know what your character's doing, and then we'll play it out in game.
So Al would very, very quietly alert the others as to what his plan is and tell them that he will be in the room at the most advantageous point he can think of or he can find.
So wait, what's his plan?
Well, just that he's going to go invisible.
Okay.
And then enter the room and then take up, he'll have to wait until he gets in there, but take up whatever would be the most advantageous place to go.
How will they know when you get in there?
They won't. That's the problem.
Okay.
Basically, like, the idea would be that Al will go invisible, he'll go in the room, he'll find a good spot, and then just the others will know that he is around somewhere if things get bad.
Okay. Well, I have no weapons. I have no armor. But I'm good to just stroll out.
I can. No, you're not efficient with knives, are you?
Nope. Swords are my thing.
Patrick's going to nudge Al and go, guys.
What?
I can understand anything that's what's going on here. It's either long shot of a rival gang thinking they can take over this place, some gang, or best guess, since they seem to have strolled in, taken over this place. I think this might be the original Ferocious Five.
Oh, I'm pretty sure it's the latter.
Well, it would make sense. But we have to go in and talk to them. I mean, I don't see another option to that. And right now, they have the advantage on us. I'm just trying to think of ways to level the playing field out a bit.
I don't think we need to. As far as I know of them, they seem to be level-headed, like to talk, and aren't ones for violence, or at least direct violence.
Well, if that's the case, then I will have taken precautions and not needed them.
Plus,
Far
we
better
don't-
than not taking precautions we end up needing.
Don't we have like 14 people on our side in this place or something like that? Like, surely somebody else has got to be around waiting for an opportunity. Correct.
But
Yes.
On a character,
again,
Inferno, like,
Yeah,
all we
that's
heard
right.
was
Like this is
August
yeah,
Teach's voice, right?
yeah,
That was
exactly. All you heard was August's voice.
it. Yeah, like, there's like 20 people here, so.
We have an army.
Al shakes his head. Again, we're making assumptions. We haven't seen any of them yet. We shouldn't.
That's what I'm saying. If they're expecting us, which it seems like they are, they want to see all five.
Al shakes his head. Then just say I wasn't with you. I'm out somewhere else. That's an easy enough story to buy. We don't always travel all together all at the same time.
I'm gonna
Al,
be honest, I don't think it matters too much either way if you go invisible or not. They say, where's the fifth guy, you pop out. Otherwise, don't.
No, why? Just say that he's not there. I think it matters hugely because I can get right behind them. I can do all kinds of things if I'm invisible that might help tip the scale. And if they say, "Where's the fifth guy?" He's talking to one of our friends in the city. Like the idea that everyone travels together all the time is
No, you misunderstand me. I'm saying,
Mhm.
like, if they have a knife at someone's throat and they say, where's the fifth guy?
Oh, like if it's like do or
If
die.
you have to come out, then you can
Yeah,
come out
yeah.
or not.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's true. True enough.
So I'm
Okay.
ready to just walk out.
Well,
yeah.
Are you guys good to?
I would say give him about a minute, and then go.
Okay.
And
So
give me
then-
just a minute here, real quick,
Mhm.
because I'm just mapping out a very rough.
GM's office.
General manager,
Ah,
Alicia.
gotcha.
All right, then you can see the tables is pretty clear. Okay, it's a very rough idea, but it gives you a map. So you guys are all obviously back here in the back hallway by the green rooms, and these are the stairs up. Stage bandstand. The sound's kind of coming in from here. You can enter through this way. Good.
Yes. I will do so.
Wait,
Mm-hmm.
are you guys gonna give Al his minute, or are you just going?
Yes, we'll give
Okay.
you your minute, just like your
Okay.
minute.
Well, you didn't
You have
actually
a
say that. So
Okay, I will
So now there's
wait a
drills,
minute.
okay? Okay, but I'm sorry. I
Al's-
casted Mordecai's faithful watchdog. All right. Anyway.
I'm sorry. I thought the same thing as soon as I said it. I was like, "Oh God, that sounds just like him."
Yep.
I would back up. I would cast invisibility, and I would also cast telekinesis on myself.
So you go out into the back alleyway.
Mhm.
All right. You go. You cast those spells on yourself. Use up the PPE. Keep in mind of the duration. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Then you guys would see the back door open up again without seeing anyone. So I hope you assume it's Al. All right, Al. What are you going to do now?
I am going to prowl into the room and try and assess the situation.
Okay, so go ahead and roll a prowl check, please.
All right.
Make it easier by 10 because you're invisible.
Got it. All right. So I succeed by 22.
Okay, great. You carefully open up the two little flippy doors out there, very carefully as to not make much of a sound, and carefully prowl your way into the main hall, in which you can see a bunch of dark, shadowy figures amidst the tables, the bandstand, and the bar. Most of the lights have been turned off, with the exception of the stage lights themselves, the bright bulbs casting most of the light in the Rhapsody. And through those shadows, those contrasts of black and white shadows, you make out a few familiar faces. Marlis Stotch, August, Morgan McLaughlin, and Bear are on the stage. They're sitting down at the on the chairs that the band normally stands at. August is looking clearly the most flustered and concerned, whereas Marlis, Morgan McLaughlin, and Bear seem relatively calm, which is good because there is a petite woman with dark hair and a flowing ball gown with a little derringer that's standing across from them, and although she's not pointing the gun directly at them, it is in her possession and quite clear that she is willing to use it if absolutely necessary. Sitting on the nearby table here is a very large gentleman who looks like he's been built like a brick shit house. Oh my goodness, Inferno, it helps if you can talk. He is easily 6'5" tall, and his well-dressed vested suit is barely able to contain the muscles therein. He is sitting on the edge of the table since he's almost so massive. None of these small, dainty chairs around the table seem to be able to hold his weight. Across from there, at the bar, you see Alicia, Ezex, and Basilisk leaning up against the bar, looking out towards the center. Also leaning against the bar is a gentleman in a fedora hat and a pencil-thin mustache. He has a darker olive skin complexion, perhaps Hispanic or so, and he too has a shotgun, but it's lying on the bar itself, easily within arm's reach of Alicia, Ezex, and Basilisk. And all of them look somewhat relaxed as well, despite the weaponry. Although you can see Alicia taking a few small glances at the shotgun, and knowing her, she's ready and willing to do anything else. As far as the rest of your companions, Blink, Hannibal, Frank Patterson, and Ellie, you do not see them here. What you do see, however, Al, is two other figures. One in a striped zoot suit that's standing right in front of the front doors themselves. And he's a gentleman, obviously. And a final person who is the shortest of the group. Well, no, not shorter than the woman. Sorry, I guess the second shortest of the group, who seems his face is completely splotched in freckles as he is by the door to the kitchen, seemingly standing guard around that as well. Both of them have pistols in their hands, but similarly to the rest of the scene, they don't have them pointed at them or being used aggressively. They're just in their possession. So Al, the question is where do you want to position yourself?
Well, so we got Alicia and Ezex over here with the guy with the
And Basilisk.
Over here with the guy. So if things went down, they'd probably go for him. Yeah, big muscly guy.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, he might be one of the bigger threats. So Al is going to get within striking distance to him.
Hand-to-hand striking distance or shooting striking distance?
Hand to hand. All he has is knives. So
Okay. So now, how close do you want to be to him? I know you said within hand-to-hand, but let's do feet, right? Because
sure.
just to give you a heads up, because you're not dumb and you know how to prowl and whatnot, invisible or not, they're, if you can't see a person and they're sneaking up behind you and they're right behind you, you start to get a sense that someone might be behind you. So you might not want to be so close to like where you could hear the sound of your breath or like your body heat. Well, I can't feel your body heat unless he's pressing up against you. We don't want to do that. We already have too much weird romantic crossovers already in the campaign. So just tell me the number of feet you want to be a distance from.
I'd say within, say, 6 or 7 feet. Close enough that in a second he could close the distance.
Okay, yeah, so 6 feet sounds good. All right. So we'll put you... no, that's Tom. Nope, that's Patrick. Whoop. We'll put you there. Because he is like right there. Leaning up against the edge of that table. Okie dokie.
All right, and then is he facing this direction?
Yep.
All right, then can I like move to like here, or, like so that I'm behind him, directly
Sure.
behind him?
Yeah, go nuts.
Thank you.
All right. As Al's getting into position, you hear soft footsteps down the stairs, and peeking around the corner is Blink. She blinks several times, and she whispers, and she said, "When did you get here?"
Just now.
Well, things have really got messed up here already. These people are coming in saying that they actually own this place, and they wanted to talk to you, the people who call themselves the Ferocious Five. It looks like we're just chatting for now, but they have weapons, but we didn't start firing because God knows what would happen. We figured we'd wait until you showed up. If you want us to take them down, I'm ready.
Good. Just wait for things to pop off if they do.
Okay, she says. I don't like it, but okay.
Honestly, if we can solve this by talking, then that's the best. We don't want anybody hurt.
She blinks several times, and she nods in agreement.
Okay. So I gave Al his minute.
Yep.
Wink. I'm gonna go and just fucking walk over here.
Okay. Patrick, Lavin, what are you gonna do?
Yep, I'm ready to march in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So the three of you brazenly open up the doors and step on through the back entrance. Immediately, the first person within line of sight is the big hulking Hercules, who stands up from his table and he says, "Freddy, they're here."
Hi. How's it going?
You come closer. We can't see you so well. Introduce yourself. We're having a little private party, as you can see. Enough, Leviathan, says the man in the zoot suit from the door. Be a guest. Step aside, let them sit down. Come on in. We were just talking with your friends. Where's the rest of you?
Well, this is us. We were doing business.
Oh, really? You're the Ferocious Five, huh? Listen, I'm not great with numbers, but I can count up to 5.
That's good for you. Yes, that's 3 of us.
Yeah.
You really put that together.
So where are the other 2?
Well,
Beats me. You think we're
Yeah.
joined at the hip?
Well, they said as he points over towards August. He said y'all went out together for some important meeting, so I assume y'all came back together.
Well, silly, you making that assumption.
I Go ahead.
I don't like this whole dancing around. To be honest, we saw something was up, and we came in cautiously. Hey, we let one person back just in case. The other one, honestly, I have no idea.
The Hispanic gentleman with the pencil-thin mustache from the bar, he says, we can't hold the caution against you. We're cautious ourselves, as you can see, as he taps his shotgun on the bar. We just want to talk. Is that okay?
I think the three of us can agree that if we can speak for our entire Ferocious Five.
So be it, he says. The freckled gentleman steps out from the doors of the kitchen and starts drifting towards the center. The woman stays by the stage, scowling at you three, but not saying anything. And the man in the zoot suit also approaches towards the hulking gentleman there. And the man in the zoot suit seems to be the major mouthpiece. He says, okay, so let's talk. What are you, a bunch of thieves?
Why
More
would you say
of a
that?
mistaken identity, but...
Oh, mistaken identity. Okay, well, explain to me the mistake here, bud. How do you mistakenly take the personas of some of the most vicious, ferocious, and effective vigilantes in all of Velda City? How did you just stumble into it by mistake?
Well, a little bit. I mean, we did take down a Baron, but it was a different one.
Oh, okay. Cute. All right. So, just like you, I'm sick of dancing around it. So let's cut to the chase. We were positioned to open up this here establishment, but we got delayed, you see. We got delayed in from Chi-Town, and now we're here. And we hear all this big hubbub of people being killed and the Ferocious Five coming back and their big opening night a week ago, which caught us by quite a surprise. A big unveiling. First of all, you look nothing like us. Secondly, I'm thinking all the money you're making from here was based on our reputation, right?
Patrick goes, I don't think so. Most people didn't even think we were the Ferocious Five until we even slightly hinted at it, and then they started putting their own pieces together.
The big hulking gentleman says, I don't like how he talks. I think we give ultimatum now. The guy in the zoot suit says, okay, Leviathan, you're right. So this is what's going to happen, okay? We're willing to forgive and forget this whole little misunderstanding, all right? You got yourselves a nice little setup here. We can respect that. How about you give us all the profits that you made last week as recompense for using our name, our establishment, our connections, right? You never use our name again. You're no longer the Ferocious Five. We are. And we'll call it square.
How do we know you're the Ferocious Five and not just some imposters?
Well, I can show you, sweetheart, says the girl with the derringer in her hand, but you're not going to like it.
All right. before any fights break out because of showing, I'd like to say I don't really care about this establishment. Honestly, you can have it back, but just give us some time to pack up. And I don't mean just today, tonight. Less than a week, maybe a week, it's yours.
The
Week
freckled
tops.
guy spits on the floor. He says, I don't like it. It doesn't take people a week to pack up. You're up to something.
Well,
Stupid.
just need a place to stay. That's all.
Rent a hotel.
Well, we were going to give you the profits of this, but I guess we can keep that. Go to the. Honestly, we almost don't need anything here.
Then go now, says the big hulking gentleman. You don't need anything? Then go. Leave.
I
Makes
only
us
asked for a
happier.
few days of stay,
No.
and we can honestly just be acquaintances until we leave in less than a week. We honestly don't want to keep anything that's yours.
You don't get it, says the man in the zoot suit. What's ours is our name and reputation. All right? That's the problem. This whole Rhapsody thing, if this is your establishment, your people, we don't care. All right? We just want you to stop using our name, and we want a little kickback for the insult that you've done. The kickback should be your week's worth of profits, right? Because you've been here a week, all right? Using our name, our identities. Seems only fair unless you can think of a better recompense.
Patrick and I stopped for a second. So they did earlier in this conversation say that this place was theirs, right?
Yep.
But they don't want to keep it.
Hmm.
So I guess Patrick will just be like, I'm sorry, I must have missed something. We accidentally walked into this building and started doing business because, well, hey, everyone seemed to almost expect us to do this, so we thought, why not? Now you come in and say, this is ours. We believe you. What I don't understand is why don't you want to keep... This must be an expensive place. Why don't you want to keep this?
The Hispanic man with the pencil-thin mustache turns from the bar and he says, it's simple. First of all, you outnumber us considerably, so if we can avoid any particular fight, that'd be nice on our part. That's not to say we wouldn't fight like the Dickens, but needless bloodshed isn't really our cup of tea. Secondly, we had plans to do a big unveiling of who we really were to the public, get in the fame and the fortune, and our plan was to create a nightclub. Now, you also created a nightclub. It's not the same nightclub that we would have made, but it's a nightclub nevertheless. Suffice to say, with new capital from the money that you'll be giving us, we can actually create our own nightclub. So when Leviathan there, as he gestures over to that giant hulking man, said, this is ours, he was talking more symbolically like. He's the muscle of the group, as you can tell.
I see. Patrick looks to his companions for anything that they want to add.
Oh, I've got nothing. These people are talking in circles.
Levin?
Nope.
Well, honestly, we don't mind giving back to... Honestly, it seems like you were pretty great people.
Thank you. says the woman. I like that one. He's okay. All right, well, go get our money then.
Honestly, if you want, you can have. He stops for a second. Whatever is left when we go. We're honestly not going to stay too long in this place anyway. As he then goes over to wherever he thinks the money is kept.
Probably in the general manager's office.
Yeah.
All right, as you head towards there, the freckled man follows you, keeping an eye on you, while the rest of the ferocious five stay in their spot. The man in the zoot suit says, "You keep talking about leaving. What's the matter? You don't like Velda City? You feeling the heat too much? Can't stand impersonating vigilantes, so you're just going to cut and run?"
No, it's a fine enough place, but we're just here to get a few things and then move on. We're travelers.
I just don't like Velda City.
Okay,
I've never
he doesn't
seen
like
such
Velda
a
City.
colorless city in my life.
Yeah, I suppose it could be drab for some foreigners, says the man in the zoot suit. That's the reason why we took up stakes and went someplace else. But when rumors started to come down, we had to investigate, you see. Don't worry, once we get our recompense, we'll be out of here. And I kind of feel bad, says the man in the zoot suit. This does kind of seem like a robbery, but we really had no idea who we were dealing with. You can probably tell your man he can step out of the shadows where the hell he is now.
If Al were to, is there a place like right around here where, I mean, because they're positioned pretty well. I'm trying to think if there's a place where Al could step out of all of their views real quick.
Back in the back hallway.
No, that's fine.
Or the kitchen. Now that the guy's in by the door and he's following Patrick to the GM's office. That's it. Everyone else has a sight line in here.
Yeah, that's true.
We're just...
I was thinking ducking under the table.
And there's bathrooms next to the storage.
You
Just
know what?
Pop up,
Actually,
pop
you
up
can go
from
just
behind
in
the
the
bar.
corner of the storage over here.
No, actually,
Yeah, like I said, there's a lot of shadows all over the place. Like I said, the only lights that are lit up right now are from the stage. So everyone's in shadowy light.
Al would actually just go behind the bar, like near where Alicia is, crouch down, reveal, and stand up.
Okay, Al, you'll stand up. The man with the pencil mustache kind of gives a bit of a start as you surprise him. He says, "Oh, what? Where the hell did you come from?"
You asked me to step out of the shadows, didn't you?
I checked behind that bar not 15 minutes ago.
You're right. You did.
He had crawled into one of the bottles.
I don't like that one, says says the lady, pointing her derringer like as a pointer towards Lavin. He's got a smart mouth. Anyway, meantime, Patrick, you're heading into the GM's office. There is a large safe behind the desk there. Now the question is, and I'll leave this entirely up to you since you're very good at playing in character, would Patrick have learned the combination to that, since that had to do with more Rhapsody business and the only valuables in there is
Probably
your
not.
daily... Okay. You do know Alicia probably does, since she was the acting general manager of this place.
Of course she would lock it. What was I thinking?
Yep. Yep.
Patrick says out loud. He quickly goes through the books for the past week to see like how much they've made.
Okay. You have made $2,200 by the looks of it. Now, some of the heads up. A lot of that capital there is the capital to buy additional booze and food and everything like that too. So you give up all the $2,200, and you'll have to be paying out of pocket to keep the Rhapsody running.
Right.
Well, Patrick, they did say they wanted the profits, not all the money.
Yeah.
Exactly how much of that $2,200 is profits? I doubt you would know. You'd probably have to ask the person who was managing all that stuff.
So it's not like booked.
No.
Right.
Well, there's a ledger. Yeah, there's a ledger. Of course, yeah, there's an accounting ledger.
Okay. Patrick looks almost he like turns he like stops, realizes his general mistake, and he had a fairly cool demeanor on until he like realized his mistake and went, "Oh, I don't know the combination, and I have to take some time for funds. I'm gonna go get the manager. I thought this was going to be a lot more straightforward."
The freckled gentleman kind of slits his eyes over at you, and he says, "Well, then go get him, then. I'm going to stick to you like a shadow there."
Patrick nods. He actually, like, on the way back, he goes, "So, I'm sure you're probably not going to, maybe. I would love to know more of the story behind the Ferocious Five. From what I've heard, generally a vigilante group, but I've only heard things about the Gin Baron. I'm sure it's the largest success, but probably not the only."
The freckled guy purses his lips, and he says, "You want a story? Okay. Once upon a time, there were 5 tough as nails vigilantes who were victims of 5 yellow spineless people in taking their name and reputation. Those spineless people gave the ferocious people their money and didn't waste their time with stories. The end." Get the manager. Now.
You know, Patrick is, I assumed, been walking.
Mm-hmm.
Though a lot more tight-lipped and off of his sheepish look again, back to his serious demeanor.
At the words "get the manager now," Alicia would raise her hand, and she says, "I'm managing this place." To which the man in the pencil-thin mustache and the freckled man give a patronizing chortle, and they say, "Yeah, sure, sweetheart." And she's like, "Well, if you want your money, you better take me seriously." They both look at the man in the zoot suit. The man in the zoot suit nods. And he says, "Yeah, okay, follow the dame." And for a moment, Alicia says, "In order to get you your profits, I'm going to need our accountant with me." And she quickly looks over towards Al. That guy.
Al looks at them and shrugs as if, like, helplessly, like, eh. And he'll start going with Alicia.
All right. As the two of you head back into the GM's office, the freckled man waits by the door, looking at you and then looking out at Patrick, looking at you and looking out at Patrick. As you head behind Alicia's desk and crouch down to open up the safe, you hear Alicia say under her breath, under her breath, Al,
Mm-hmm.
she says, Yasmin, Jalea, Blink, and Ellie are upstairs ready to strike. You give the word, and we'll kick these guys out of here. Something that they're saying isn't adding up. I think they're just robbers.
Al like doesn't acknowledge that he heard her, or doesn't give any clear signs to her that might be seen, but he does kind of sit on the desk, right, and look at the guy with the freckles and go, so how did you take down the Gin Baron?
How many times do I gotta tell you? No time for stories. Hey, get accountant.
No, I think you have time for one story. We need to be sure you're actually who you say you are. How do we know you're not just robbers? How did you beat the Gin Baron? It's an easy enough answer, and you get your money. Easy peasy, right?
Okay, we ran him out of town. We burned all of his businesses to the ground.
All his business to the ground. That's odd. The newspapers didn't say much about burning.
Well, bully for them, that's their problem, says the freckled man, but he's looking a little bit more uncomfortable.
Aha. Interesting. So you're saying that you burned all his businesses to the ground, and yet every newspaper in town just somehow missed that?
Not my problem, says the freckled man. Hey, Chuck, I got another talker in here. The man in the zoot suit gives a sigh, and he says, come on, just hurry up.
Inferno,
Yep.
I'd like to ask. So I have telekinesis activated.
Yep.
From my understanding, right. From my understanding, once it's activated, it's basically just thought. There's nothing. Is there anything verbal or anything I have to do to use it? So it's just a thought.
Yeah, I believe there's a PPE cost, or there's a weight limit, right?
There's a weight limit, yes.
Yeah, there's a weight limit, yeah.
Pounds. So
but yeah, it's a thought, yeah.
Okay. Al would just with the thought, he would direct all 60 pounds on the gun in his hand, just to kind of like force it out of his hand, or to attempt to force it out of his hand, just so it just kind of like falls to the floor.
Heads up.
Mm-hmm.
It can't. I don't. Here's a tricky thing. You can. All right. The force to get it out of his hand will cause it to like fly across the room. You know what I mean? Because you need to do a lot of force in order to just disarm him completely, right?
Right.
To make it like just fall to the floor. Well, I guess if you tug down really hard. Okay, yeah. I guess if you just tug down really hard, that makes sense.
Or, I'm fine with like going to the side. Just I would want to do it as far away from me as possible, so that I'm sitting there. It looks like I did nothing. You know what I mean? So like I'm fine having it just fly over to the other side of the room or something.
Okay. All right. And so what's the max amount of weight?
60 pounds.
60 pounds. Okay, 60 pounds of force is enough to disarm a person for sure. And he doesn't see it coming at all. So sure enough, without any sort of warning, suddenly the snub-nosed pistol in this freckled man's face flies across the office and clacks against a filing cabinet on the other side of the room. the freckled man gives a loud shout. He says, "What the? Hey, Chuck! Something's up here. Something's wrong." To which everyone gets on a large alert. So now my question to the other players is, shall we slip into melee rounds, actions every 15 seconds? Or do you want to have these people kind of just react naturally?
I'm kind of thinking I want an initiative order.
I'm fine with initiative order. I will say that I'm not trying to engage in combat. I'm kind of more doing, at the moment, psychological shenanigans. But I'm fine with an initiative order.
Evil shenanigans. The next person who says shenanigans, I'm gonna whip with my pistol. Hey, Farva, what's that restaurant you like with all that goofy shit in the wall? Shenanigans.
Pulls out pistol.
Anyway.
That was when they were high.
Yeah, like I'm trying to think. There's got to, like, if we can freak them out, we might just get him to leave without any bloodshed. But of course, that's just Al's thoughts.
See, I was thinking of going ahead and having a flaming shot. So just having.
This is what we're gonna do, because here's the best thing about slipping into initiative: it's actions per melee, right? It doesn't necessarily have to mean attacks, right? So this way, everyone gets to act in order, but they can do whatever they want to try to spook them or intimidate them or to punch them, you know what I mean? Or pass if you want to just stay backwards. So I think that'll be the happiest out of all of our all of the options, okay? Yeah. So let's head on over to the Rifts Initiative 2.0. And I would like all of you guys to roll for initiative, please. And what I'm going to do is just have 2 initiative. So one's for the NPCs and one for the ferocious 5. That so we don't clutter up the fucking initiative, you know?
Yeah. Makes sense.
Sorry, I'm dropping F-bombs like crazy today. All right.
You sailor, you.
I know. And I'm just going to amalgamate all their bonuses and whatnot to just D20 rolls. So I got a 3 and a 14.
Sounds good. How dare you say that in this Christian live stream?
Yeah, well, you know. I don't know.
All the little children.
I'll tell your mom.
Don't tell my mom. I'm going to average both of them at having 5 actions each, if necessary. All right. It looks like we're good. Everyone has rolled and put in their initiatives?
I do believe so, yeah.
Okie dokie. Let me just sort her out then.
I'm gonna add a couple.
Sort range. What is it? D. Column D. Z to A. Hey, Opa. Okay. So you heard the initial reaction, Al. It's your action next.
Okay. Al is going to use his telekinesis to hold the gun up and point it at the freckled guy while simultaneously saying, "What the hell's going on?"
You asshole. Clever. All right, Lavin. You're hearing some shouts and commotion and whatnot. Anything you want to do?
Not unless someone else is reacting.
Okay, so you'll hold it off for now. Okay. The freckled man says, "Whoa! I think we found the 5th one." At which the man with the pencil mustache makes a grab for his shotgun. He's going to be interrupted by Basilisk, who also puts his hand on the shotgun as well, and shakes his head like, "No, you're not picking this up." Russian fellow, Russian. He just has a Russian accent. Leviathan stands up completely and takes a few paces towards the GM's office, taking a look around, and his eyes widen. He starts, "What the while the woman with the derringer starts waving it around frantically at Bear, McLaughlin, Marla Stotch, and August. The man in the zoot suit says, "Okay, whoa, wait. This wasn't a part of the plan." And that's their actions. Tom?
Not a part of the plan? What plan? You were too afraid of things heating up? And on the word heating up...
Oh my god, Burn! Alright.
I would like to flame burst, so then Tom just bursts into flames.
Hey, Lavin, they're doing something.
Tom's got it under control.
I was just relaxing, grabbing
Fair
myself
enough.
a whiskey.
Alright.
Can I do
Patrick?
an everyman intimidate?
Yeah, you can. It's gonna be a roll of 1d100. The threshold's going to be like 70, no, like 80, because you just caught yourself on fire.
Okay. I got 71.
Alright, so you succeed by 9. Okay. Patrick, you're by the bar.
He's going to lament that this always goes down to this particular way. I'm going to spend my turn lamenting, and no, I don't want to pass my turn.
Alright.
I can just picture Patrick going, "No, guys, geez, no, oh god, why?
Alright.
Why again?"
Basilisk and the man with the pencil mustache are going to do an opposed strength check to see who gets the shotgun. Here's Basilisk. Oh, okay. I forgot to do a 1d20 plus 4. There's the shotgun. He succeeded. And with the shotgun, slides the barrel underneath Basilisk's hand. And Basilisk raises up his hand and he says, whoa. Don't do anything you're going to regret. With like this big knowing smile in which you can hear Ezex giving like this ferocious growl. None of the 4 NPCs at the bandstand move at all. But you see Alicia go for the gun that's floating up in the air, and she grabs at it. Top of the order. Ow.
Al is going to he's gonna say so again, he's gonna say, "I'm the 5th person, you idiot," and the gun's gonna like start not insanely fast, but aggressively moving towards the guy with freckles, and the hammer's gonna cock back.
Wait, but I thought it was in Alicia's hand.
No, what? No,
Yeah,
Alicia went and grabbed it.
She just went to grab it.
Oh,
That was
what happened. Yeah, I'm sorry. I thought I somehow thought she grabbed her own gun. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, she doesn't.
No.
Would I be
Okay.
able to like raise it up out of her grasp?
You can. No, not gently. No.
No, all right.
You can either take it away from her forcefully, like you did that guy, or you can just let her have it.
Yeah, I'll let her have it. The whole point was to act like a ghost had it, but yeah, I didn't have time to tell her. So
no, no, she's just kind of going on instinct here. She thought this was your signal, or someone's signal.
It's fine. Al would do. Gosh, I don't know. You know what? Al would just make something from the other side of the room. Start. Is there anything in that room that looks somewhat menacing, like a stick, an object, anything?
A chair.
Sure,
You have a
sure.
chair.
Al will lift up a chair and like and have it start floating towards him while saying, "I was the fifth guy. Who the hell is that?"
Okay. That's Al. Lavin?
Well, no shots have been fired or anything yet, right? Like,
No, not yet.
I'm gonna walk to the bar and pour a drink.
I do it.
Take a couple actions for you to do that.
They're stupidly outnumbered. I mean, this is whatever.
But Lavin, they had guns and you didn't. You know, bank robbers are also stupidly outnumbered, yet somehow they can still make out A-okay, right? They just didn't know their friends, you guys could set yourselves on fire or have crazy, like, mental powers, right?
I knew that, so I'm gonna go
oh,
pour
okay.
a drink.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough. So Leviathan there looks over to man in the zoot suit and he says, "You no hire me to punch man in flames. I quit. Stupid job." and he begins to walk out of the bar with the man in the zoot suit like just opening and closing his mouth like a fish, being like, but as Leviathan says, "No but," as his action is just leaving the scene, like carefully, slowly plodding away, but he is done with this, right? The man with the pencil thin mustache starts waving his shotgun around at Ezex and Basilisk and Lavin there at the bar, and he cocks it, but he doesn't fire it just yet because his eyes are looking over towards Tom. Patrick, when did you do that plus sign?
Basically, when the guy was saying like he wanted to leave or was going out the door.
Okay, all right.
No. You basically.
Let me finish what the Ferocious Five are doing on their action at least first.
Sure.
Okay, because we are in initiative order, right?
Sure.
So, the freckled man steps back as if he saw a ghost. He says, no, but I saw that flying. And then he turns around and he sees like Tom on fire, and he gives like this horrible, like girlish shriek as he starts running towards the center, towards the man in the zoot suit. And the woman finally starts to like slowly back up, and she's the only one who's like kept some sort of composure, although not a ton. The brunette eyeing quite a bit at Tom, who's on fire, as she looks over to the man in the zoot suit, and she says, "Sweetie, maybe it's time to cut and run. I don't know if I've done too much lawn them today, but things ain't adding up." All right, that's their action. And now it is to Tom and or Patrick. If Tom, you want to have Patrick go first because of that plus sign.
Go for it.
No. My plus thing was towards the big man.
Okay, well, we'll say like on your turn, like he isn't completely out of the building yet. He's like by the entrance, going to step up. Sound good? Happy medium. So he's still within earshot when it's your turn?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Tom's just gonna cackle and go, "Wait, I thought we were the imposters and you were the right. You're the Ferocious Five, right? Aren't you? Didn't you want to strong-arm us? Maybe you should leave before you get yourselves hurt."
Okay.
That's my turn.
All right, Patrick.
I think after. Fuck. All right. I guess he'll go. You all can leave, but big man. I'm sorry, I don't know your name.
Leviathan. Like
Leviathan,
big
thank
fish
you.
sent by God, except I swallow people with fist.
That's actually a really good pitch.
Thank
How about $20 just to tell us any information, and we'll completely leave you alone.
Okay, you put $20 on bar top, he says. I tell. The man in the zoot suit says, well, what the hell are you doing?
Hey, he's getting paid for this.
I'm willing to suspend combat if you guys are, or sorry, suspend initiative if you guys are.
Yeah.
Sure,
Okay.
I'm good.
The brunette moves over to the man in the zoot suit, his side, along with the freckled gentleman, and they're kind of clumping together, far less intimidating as they were before. The only ones who are armed is the man in the zoot suit and the dame. Yet they're not firing their weapons. The man with the shotgun is slowly backing up towards towards the exit of the Rhapsody himself, passing by Leviathan. He says, "You Russian fink! I knew we shouldn't have made you a part of our crew." And and the giant Russian is just shrugging his shoulders and like waving out at him. Until finally the man with the shotgun simply breaks and runs after like listening to Tom like laugh maniacally. Do you put the $20 on? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Lavin.
I was gonna say I'd like to walk up to the woman that said she didn't
Mhm.
like me and just take the gun out of her hand.
She doesn't resist.
I didn't think so.
Yep. No, you take the Derringer out of her hand, and here's the best thing, Lavin. When you take it, it's a small gun, but it seems awfully light. You look into it, it's not even loaded.
What a joke. All right.
So anyways, do you put the $20 on the table?
Absolutely. Oh,
Russia,
am I muted?
yeah, no, you're not. No, you're not. Leviathan takes a look at the $20 bills in his giant meat hook hands. He gives it a little smell. Yeah, good, he says. That man there, fancy suit, he say he part of original Ferocious 5. He say he out of sorts with friends. But here you took over establishment. He hire us individually plus sweetheart and cousin there, as he points over towards the woman and the freckled man, to pretend to be actual Ferocious 5. I told him stupid, would not work. Easier just to break in and steal from safe. But he said this was better way. This clearly not better way, as he looks towards Tom, who's on fire, so I quit. Thank you for $20. No hard feelings, okay?
No hard feelings. Thank you.
Good. You need strong man. You ask for Leviathan. Every bar know him by name or reputation. Needed little bit of money. Drink through it fast, he says with a big laugh. And as he goes to exit, he says, goodbye, fake man. Good luck. As he exits the Rhapsody.
I love Leviathan.
I know, like I almost want to offer him a job.
No,
Can.
no, we have to.
If
You
you
can
want.
have a Leviathan.
like it's like when we go, the new people might need a bouncer, but this
You
place
know,
might be
actually-
gone, who knows?
Actually, it would be interesting if we signed a contract so that the the new owners, I forgot their names right now. Rosie and
Angus and Rose Mackenzie.
There you go. The Mackenzies. They would need muscle. So if we signed a contract and then gave them the contract, that would be hilarious. Yeah.
The man in the zoot suit and his freckled cousin and his main squeeze at his side realize that the gig is up. He raises his hands, puts his pistol on the table nearby, and goes, Okay. Let's all just settle down and put the weird shit away, you freaks. I wasn't completely lying. I am a part of the original Ferocious Five, but, as Leviathan said, I kind of fell out of sorts with my old crew, and I figured I'd start anew back here in Velda City. I heard about you and thought I could squeeze you for money that I think was rightfully mine. Is that such a bad idea?
Yes. Obviously.
Apparently it was.
Well,
I mean, look how it turned out, and Tom's gonna extinguish the flames.
listen, man, I don't know what you people are. I've heard all sorts of rumors about freaks in the shadows, but I never thought I'd come across some here. All right? So, we'll just say, my mistake. Just, let's go. You'll never see us again, all right? You're right. You were right about Velda City, as he points to her lab, and this place is a crap hole. I'll just leave. Greener pasture somewhere else.
I am curious. Now, could you tell us a little bit more about the Ferocious Five?
If I do...
Poor Patrick.
The guy in the zoot says, if I do, will you let me go? No problems, no fuss?
Well, you can go now if you want, or you can stay here, tell us a story, have a few drinks, and we can open up for the night.
How about we talk about what we'll do if you don't?
I don't think it needs to go that far, Lavin. Let's calm things down.
Let's not go nuts, he says. Listen to the guy who's on fire.
Calm things down. You set yourself on fire. I'm not doing anything.
Hey. Pour me a drink.
Tom hesitates, says, point taken.
Are you still...
Oh, no. He extinguished himself. Hello?
Uh-oh. I think he
Can
cut
you guys
out.
hear me?
No, I can hear you.
We hear you. Inferno
Okay.
dropped.
Oh no, Inferno dropped.
screaming?
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Can you hear me weeping?
We heard you go.
Are you still? Okay.
Yeah, I'm assuming you can hear me now, though.
Yes.
Okay, then let us continue.
Tom is not on fire anymore, by the way.
Okay, yes, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. All right, so now that he's no longer on fire, Alicia emerges from the general manager's room, and she shakes her head, and she says, we were playing with you to make you think you had some control, hoping that you wouldn't take things to an absurd level, but you just had to be jackasses, didn't you? She says, as she opens up the gun, and she sighs, and she says, and next time when you're going to rob someone, spring for some bullets. She closes it.
Jesus, they're not even loaded.
No.
Oh, God.
So the guy in the zoot suit says, okay, yeah, all right, I'll tell you anything you want to know. What do you want to know about the original Ferocious Five?
Well, for one, I think the most important thing is you said you were split up. There was differences.
Yeah.
Something happened.
He says, okay. So we got rid of the gin baron here in Velda City, right? And everything was fine. The money was lush, all that good stuff, right? So we decided to move on to greener pastures. Chicago, which ain't too far away, is rife with crime and undesirables, so we figured we'd break out there, spread our name, right? Big egotistical thing. See, the rest of my members, the rest of my former friends, we're all about doing good and getting rid of crime and all this other shit, right? I saw it as a way of robbing from robbers, right? Stealing from thieves, right? Killing murderers. It's like a karmic balance thing, right? So we had some differences in overall philosophy, and I start to see their actions as being less and less profitable, right? And they were taking more and more insane risks for nothing but their own egos and their own fame. And what's the point of having fame if you're not going to capitalize on it? So I decided to use some of my old contacts here in Velda City to make it seem like the Ferocious Five, all five of us, were coming back with this big unveiling, right? I hired posters. I put the word out on the street, in the underworld, and in the high class, right? Problem was, I figured after a few months of cultivating rumor and everything like that, I'd be able to get my own affairs in order and come back here. Well, sure enough, the train I was supposed to take derailed, and I had all sorts of problems transportation-wise, and I started to run out of money, hence my delay. And when I come out here, I find out there's already been a grand opening, and you guys are here instead. So I got my cousin, my main squeeze here, and to which the brunette says, former main squeeze, this was such a stupid idea. As she, peels away from him. He gives a murder because we'll talk later, Cynthia. As he continues, and a couple hired goons to masquerade as my old friends. Figured you didn't know who the actual Ferocious Five was, so what was the difference? I needed the money. And you did use our name, in all fairness.
Well, yes and no. It wasn't really our choice. Miss Johnson told us to use it, but it is what it is. Maybe we can work out something.
Yeah, I'm up for that. Less floating guns and people on fire, more working out deals. I'm up for that.
Al looks at Tom. Really? He just tried to come in here and rob us. We're going to give him something?
Yeah, but he's broke. And he just lost his... Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
He
if
says
you
I
want to
couldn't even
punish him...
afford bullets. No one was going to get hurt. We couldn't have shot anybody.
I don't know. I just kind of feels bad for the guy.
Yeah, listen to your friend.
I mean, his plan was so bad, it screwed up so bad, it makes me feel sorry for him.
You're giving him pity points.
Al just kind of shrugs and shakes his head. I mean, he can't argue that point. Al's like, all right, well, it's up to you. Give him a sandwich or something.
Why don't we give him a coupon for 40% off at the Rhapsody?
He's got no money for the other 60%.
Lavin brings up a good point.
Do we have a trophy for you made an attempt?
Here.
We don't have a participation bandit trophy, no.
Out
we can
of
create the horse's ass award. There you go, buddy.
Out of character, would it be fine with you guys if we gave him $20?
I mean, I'm actually really against it. But if the group's for it, I'm not going to argue. I just think that
or
rewarding
Tom,
him
you
for
could
this
personally give him $20 and not ask anybody.
But that's out of my money. Okay, here. How about we?
I don't want to give him $20. You guys we should give him $20. I know what you mean. But still, that's really funny. But that's my money.
I earned it. I didn't have a shitty plan.
Personally, I mean, the guy did try and rob us. He's an idiot. He should not be rewarded for that. But, like I said, if the group wants to, I'm not gonna cause a problem.
How much is it for a hotel night, or a night at hotel over here? Like $1?
Like $1.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then Tom's gonna look over to the guys and go, well, I mean, Al's against it, so here. He's gonna rifle around in his pockets, pick out a couple of bills. Here's $3.23. Here.
All right, he says, taking it, like really suspiciously, and he looks at it and he's like, it's not going to catch on fire or nothing, is it?
Do you want it to?
No.
Then no.
Mm.
All right, and I can go now, right? I answered all your questions?
Yes.
All right. Come on. He says, nodding over to the freckled man and his now ex-girlfriend, as the three of them unceremoniously, if they had tails, they would be in between their legs, leave the front door of the Rhapsody.
Well, there you go. That was a thing.
You know what kind of reminded me of? This is just very slight, and it's actually the diner robbers in Pulp Fiction were a little bit more confident than these guys.
Mhm.
But you know how Samuel L. Jackson pretty much talks them out of it, and they just kind of leave hunched over the front of the diner.
Right.
That's what I had in mind. But there's three of them.
I mean, it
yeah.
makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Anywho, congratulations. You met the Ferocious Five, quote unquote. You met one of them, who was a lot less ferocious. He had balls, but not a lot of skill. Anywho.
Yep.
Now what could you guys want to do? What should we move on to?
I think. Sorry, go ahead.
I know Patrick would want to go over to like most of the NPCs, discuss what happened, things like that.
Oh, okay. You'll get the rundown from the NPCs. I won't say specifically. It's kind of a group telling of what happened. It was that they were getting ready to open up, and these five people strutted in saying that they knew you and they were having a meeting with you, and with everything that was going on, they kind of took their word for it, mistakenly, right? That's when they took out their weapons and closed everything down, saying that they didn't want to create any sort of fuss. They just wanted to talk to the people who call themselves Ferocious Five. The NPCs decided that having a bloodbath in here was probably not the best idea, so they decided to play along for now, although they were quite confident they could overpower these people relatively quickly, especially since these people were too stupid to look up at the other floors, realizing that Yasmin, Jalea, Blink, Ellie, and Frank Patterson were still up there.
Especially Frank Patterson with that elephant gun.
Yes, exactly. You don't want to mess with him. But regardless, they said it would probably be best. They kept on blathering on, and they didn't seem like a very cohesive unit. So they thought they'd give them the illusion of control until you showed up. You did show up, and the rest was history.
Wow. Al would, of course, make sure everyone's okay, but obviously it looks like they are. Then we would, of course, tell them the very interesting evening we've had, and our plan right now, which is to go to the funeral. Oh, I believe the plan is to take the pictures and then go to the funeral and try and plant the pictures, right?
Mm-hmm. Plant the pictures, and you still have to come up with someone who can forge.
Yeah.
Find someone who has underground connections, who can do some decent forgery work.
Go talk to Sharktooth, basically.
Yeah.
Sure.
It stinks that we're gonna have to.
I doubt Leviathan knows how to spell, let alone maybe he does, let alone forge. But anyway, I'm just.
Well,
joking.
he probably knows how to spell really well in Russian.
Yeah, that's true. It's true. Yeah. The idea is to create the fake evidence, then go to the funeral to snoop around his house, plant the evidence, find the statue, and anything else that might be damning.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we would impart this onto knowledge to our friends, of course.
Okay. All right. as you mentioned that, Yasmin sheepishly says, I know how to fake letters.
You do?
She nods.
Oh,
I'm a little out of practice, but let's just say in a past life I needed that skill.
oh, fantastic. Would you be willing to do this for us?
Of course, she says, if it gets us out of here and onto what you need, I'd be happy to help out.
Fantastic.
Great. Then we don't have to involve someone else that might cause us problems later on.
Yeah.
She gives a little bit of smile. She says, yeah. Besides, with the exception of a few other things, it'd be nice to actually take an active part in all this. Now, what I am going to need, of course, is an example of his work and a little bit of time to practice. Your, what did you call him? A change thing?
A changeling. They're very,
Changeling.
very good at looking like anyone they want to and sounding like them.
Yeah.
So he's like a DB here.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, she says. So he's going to show up, and he's going to bring something for me to practice on?
Correct.
Okay, she says. All right, that's good. I guess the only question is, what do you want the letters to say?
Well, the idea is that he was involved with Paul Hill, the mayor.
Okay.
Probably in some kind of criminal conspiracy. And
All right.
eventually he was sick of his shit and hired a mercenary to kill the mayor, and the mayor hired another mercenary to kill him.
So do you want
assassin.
two letters, one from Paul Hill and some from
Sweet.
Sweet? She says, well, then I'm going to need Paul Hill's writing, too.
Yeah. We could probably get that tomorrow. That's what I'm thinking.
Okay. She says.
You could also just have a letter from Sweet saying that he's on to the mayor's plan to have him offed.
Mm-hmm. A one-way communication.
That's true, too. That would work.
Mm-hmm. Okay. She says, all right. I'll just wait for you to get everything that you need, and I'll do my best.
Sounds
We
fantastic.
appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, you have that in the bag. I can move, the session along if you like to the next, major point. Do a little bit of a time skip just to keep things up at a good pace. Good for you guys?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, in the mid-afternoon the next day, a woman comes knocking in a dark dress. She looks like middle-aged or so, and she has a envelope, a really wide envelope in her hand. She gives a bit of a knowing smile, and she says, a friend of ours asked me to deliver this to you. Best of luck. See you at the function tomorrow. And
You as well.
great. And exits through the front door, and then you hear a knock at the back of the rear entrance to the Rhapsody by the alleyway. You hear a knock on that door. Opening it up, you see a fellow dressed like a complete and utter bum say, okay, I'm ready for the pictures whenever you're ready. Do you want to do it inside here or inside your garage back there? Or what's your deal? Oh, yeah. Also, Lee was upstairs, too. I forgot about Lee.
Oh, yeah. Man, we're really good at forgetting about Lee.
I have to do something about these NPCs. I am losing track of them now.
We forgot Lee.
Like Lee busts out with a summoned earth elemental.
Finally, we get to see this thing.
I'm ready.
Fuck. Anyway, so I'm like, wait a second, this drunk sounds like Lee. Oh, I forgot Lee. Anyways, this man is clearly Lawrence Carter, and he's ready for what you guys need to do. Inside the envelope itself, are several letters, mostly dealing with really dry subjects, such as signing for permits, communiques to the folks hiring new miners, new policies at the mine, etc., etc., etc. Regardless, these all have a significant alphabet and vocabulary, enough that Yasmin is quite confident that she can deal with it. So she's going to start. She's going to do a little bit of practicing. She says, give her a couple hours, and then she'll be ready to start writing the fake letters. So to be clear, one last thing: you don't have to spell everything out, right? She has a creative mind herself, but the idea is to create one-way communication from Albert's suite to Paul Hill that perhaps he didn't have a chance to mail back at, right? And it would say something like, I know you tried to kill me. You're going to get a rude surprise yourself real soon. And also alluding to a lot of shady business dealings. And Yasmin asks if you want to tie in some of this shady crap that they know that the Order of the Lapine has done and link that to them as well.
Yeah.
Okay. So she'll weave that into part of the shading dealings and saying, like, I know more about you than you think I am. I know you're part of the secret order that has people killed and blah, 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 et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Right? Sound good?
Yeah.
All right.
Sounds
So
perfect.
very damning. So let's see how Yasmin does. Whoo, Yasmin.
Woo!
Good job.
Wow.
By the end, when she's finished, 4 hours in total, 2 hours to practice and 2 to formulate and write the letters. Looking them side by side, you honestly can't tell who wrote which. It's that similar. Yasmin looks quite proud of herself, and she says, well, I guess it's riding a hover bike. Once you learn, you can't really forget. She looks very satisfied and pleased with herself as well in regards to this. So you have the letters. Now, what about any sort of photos you want to stage?
Honestly, I'm kind of thinking that we should do them at the graveyard. Because I know, we were there a few days ago, and a lot of stuff happened. There was bird marks, and people probably noticed. So if we can stage it so that both of them were there meeting and getting rowdy, yelling at each other for the pictures, that could be interesting. Plus, it is out of the way. It is out of the way, not in town.
True enough. If Patrick thinks he can make that work, I think that's a good idea.
Okay. Lawrence Carter admits that he doesn't have all the time in the world, but he could take a quick jaunt out into the country and come back into Velda City and make his next appointment.
Sweet.
Okay. So once again, we'll just do this very narratively, right? Very boom, 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 right? Those of the interested parties in helping with this head out towards where the graveyard is, which is still, by the way, very much closed. Closed down for all visitation and to the public, which is lucky for you. What do you want to do? A couple poses in the graveyard itself, by the broken front gate, or maybe a little bit of both?
I'm thinking the front gate would be easily recognizable.
Yeah, definitely, since half of it is broken. Looks at Lavin.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
may I say
interject? Sure.
Yeah. Just make sure that this is ironclad and things like that. What is the time? What is the narrative of this particular picture? Because we want to make sure that, because the gate is definitely broken, that makes it that there's a timeline that this picture had to be taken.
That's true. Yeah.
So, do you want it to be after the graveyard incident, or?
Yeah, because we even saw them, or a lot of them, there after the incident, so we could kind of use that as a it would be pretty believable in the sense that it actually took place.
I guess the big question is the narrative of the photos itself, right? Under what circumstance would they be meeting together, right? That isn't like the same thing as like a charity banquet that both of them went to.
Yeah, that's true.
And the final question is, do you really need the photos?
Yeah, I don't think so, to be honest.
Okay.
Because I can't think of a way to logically
Unless they're
put
both
a
like over a
camera-
giant pile of corpses of money and rubbing their hands together. It wouldn't make much sense.
It also raises the question: who took the pictures? Where did
Mhm.
you know?
And
where
pictures
did
are
he get them?
not easy to do. Like that requires setup and patience on both sides.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Maybe we
So
should.
I think the letters might be fine.
Yeah, I was thinking pictures because we could tell a really crazy narrative of like you have Paul Hill grabbing Albert Sweet by the collar, and then Albert Sweet pulling out a gun and pointing it at Paul Hill and just walking away. That kind of stuff show that they were at odds. But that is true. We would have to explain why we found these, who could have taken the photos, blah blah blah. It's probably
Yeah,
best
back
if we
then,
don't.
like candid photos weren't really a thing in the 1930s.
Yeah.
Wouldn't relate yourself with the photos. I don't, unless there's a reason. Wouldn't you just like anonymously submit them to the media? Like, why put yourself that close to it?
That's true too.
Very true. Good point.
So yeah, I think the letters might be all we
Sure.
really need.
All right, makes sense, and they're damn good letters. So now you have some ammunition to plant in Albert Sweet's abode. Is there anything you guys want to prep before the funeral, which is going to be the next day? Do you guys want to get in disguises? Do you want to come up with some sort of fake name or persona? Do you want to just play it by ear and me just set things up for you? What are you thinking, my friends?
Well, I'm trying to think. There have been a lot of people that have seen our faces. We just don't know. The only one we know of for sure that might be there would be the police chief.
Mm-hmm.
That's
That's right, and you'll want to distract him, right?
right.
Aha. So yeah, that's definitely something you might want to, because you know what time the funeral is, right?
Mhm.
The funeral and the reception afterwards. So you have a time frame of in which to distract Arthur Greene away from that.
So
If you have any questions for me, anything like that, let me know.
yeah. So I'm just thinking what the best option for distracting him would be, and if it's even necessary. I mean, like we might even be able to go and go to him and say, "Hey, we're going to be there. Pretend like you don't know us, and it's important because we think he may be connected to this." I mean, that might not be the best option. Otherwise, we would just have to find a way to either not let him go to the funeral, oh, hey guys,
There we go. That's the sound of an idea popping in
what if
Squeaky's head.
we say one of us goes to meet him and say, "We need to talk to you right now. I know you're on your way to the funeral, but it's incredibly important to talk to you right now." So he comes to see us,
Mhm.
and while he's seeing one of us, the others are planting the evidence, and what he's seeing us about is, look, we are almost convinced that Sweet did this. There's probably going to be something in his residence that'll point towards him, but you need to get in there and you need to find it, otherwise we have nothing. And that way,
So yeah, someone might destroy it or something like
Right,
that. Why
yeah.
am I helping you? Oh, sorry.
But-
Shut
but
up,
that
Inferno.
that way he and his people find the evidence, and we are as hands off as possible.
Mhm.
And we have him distracted somewhere else while we're planting it.
That sounds perfect.
This sounds like a plot of Saved by the Bell.
And then I get to
Squee!
history class before the bell rings. I could do 2 classes at once.
So is Arthur Greene Mr. Belvedere? Probably.
I was trying to remember the damn principal's name. Is Belvedere?
Yeah, it is Mr. Belvedere.
Oh,
Why do I
okay.
know this?
I don't know.
Saved by the Bell, obviously. I
Lavender
watched that when I was
Screech.
a kid. Fuck. Saved by the Bell was the shit when I was a child. All right, anyway.
So who would want to distract?
Who wants to be Screech?
Yeah. I
Who
mean,
wants
I
to
can
distract? Yeah.
distract.
1, 2, 3,
Honestly,
not
I
it.
mean, like when it comes to planting evidence, I mean, my prowl is not as good as Tom's. I'm trying to look if there's any other skills that would help with that. Concealment, I guess, maybe might help with that. But that's kind of
The person who should talk to Arthur Greene is someone who's good at thinking on their feet, because I'm sure Arthur Greene is going to have some follow-up questions
right.
as to, like, how did you figure this out? That's all the hint I'm giving you.
Right. I understand.
Just tell him we searched this place. Yeah, we snuck it and searched it.
Well, you were vigilantes.
This is why I said 1, 2, 3, not it. See, like neither of these tasks just suited to me. So you guys have fun.
Oh, I feel bad. Okay, there has to be something Lavin can do.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Wait,
All right.
actually,
I'll tell you what I got to do is I got to take a leak, so I'll be right back.
All right.
But Lavin has a really good point. We could tell him, yeah, look, we found the letters in his house, but we can't find them. That would be inadmissible. You have to find them.
Maybe?
You know what I mean? Because we could say, look, yeah, we broke into his house. You told us we could do these things.
Mhm.
We followed a lead that he may have been involved. To be honest with you, we weren't sure it was really true. Then we found the letters. Now, we can't just bring you the letters. You have to make a show of it. You have to go find them. And then there's no if, ands, or buts. You want to use us, you used us, but we can't be the ones that bring this in, and you know that. That kind of thing.
Yeah. That could work.
Mm-hmm. Oh, even better. We were just like how? Why were you in his place? They were both killed at the same time, violently. That's not a coincidence. At least we didn't think it was. So we went looking around to see what we could find. Holy crap! Did we hit the jackpot?
Yeah.
Alright. So, Squee,
Mm-hmm.
you might also get a follow-up question along the lines of, I searched that place personally. How did you find it?
Well, see, that's the two big things. First of all, I'd have to have an answer for that. Secondly, we'd have to know exactly where they are. So we need to pick a spot that is very difficult to find, and we need to know exactly where this spot is before we do this.
Or we can make a place.
That's true. We could.
I mean, not like a room, but...
No, you're right. We could just say, we could choose, we could... If there was a way to communicate to each other, basically, you have a good point. We can make it hard to find. We just need to know where to put it. Because we can be like, all right, we're going to put it here, and Tom or whoever plants it, make it hard to find. And that's why he didn't see it the first time.
I don't know.
I have no opinion on this matter. I can't help you.
Now, how would you make a place? Well, burying it is easy enough, but...
Burying it with so many people? Yeah. I don't know.
Say... I bet they don't check inside walls.
Yeah.
We can make
Face belt.
We can either make a like small cubby hole, a slit in the back of like a picture, or a actually, yeah, if there's like there's a picture of something that means a lot to him, and we can say that it's like all he needs to know is that there's a picture. It means a lot to him.
True enough. And then now we would need to try and get beforehand knowledge of like, because we need to know what this painting is before I go talk to him. So we would need to know the target before we go hit it, if that makes sense. Because then I can be like, it's this painting. But yeah, it wouldn't be too difficult to make like a fake slit or something in the painting and hide the letters in there.
I think that's one of the better ways of doing it.
Yeah. Trying to think if there's a better way. Actually, do you mind if I remember the
better way, the better way is this, in my opinion. You come up with some other reason to pull Arthur Greene away, and then during the funeral, you can case out the place and find out exactly where it's planted, and have all the time in the world to figure it out, and not have to worry about communicating with each other.
Yep.
And then meet up with Arthur Greene afterwards and confirm it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
okay. What if we were to want a meeting with him? Well, want a meeting with him specifically, and show him one of the letters with showing that he has some business with some kind of shadow organization with Albert Sweet, and then go, I'm willing to bet that there's going to be more at the house. We need to search this.
How did we get the first letter? We got it.
We found it at his office. At not Sweet's office, or at Sweet's office, not Greene's.
Well, we could easily enough see if that's accessible. Like, because if that office is crawling with people all the time, then that's not a believable story.
Let's see. Who would suggest this? Yasmin? No, not Yasmin. She did the forgery. Alicia would suggest that if you want a distraction for Arthur Greene, why not set your little tattooed friend loose in the city and have a sighting of the assassin? I'm sure that would get Arthur Greene's attention pretty quick. Heck, one or two of you could create a bit of a scuffle, a bit of an incident in an area, right? Maybe this person is trying to take another shot at another politician or something like that.
That could be interesting.
Heck, it might not even have to be the tattooed woman. It could just be any of you making a scene, saying it's the assassin trying to strike again.
I mean, yeah, but there's a lot of room for something to go wrong there, like get caught.
Yeah.
The reason why I kind of like the idea of calling them away for a meeting is because it's nice, it's quiet, it gets the job done. No chance of entanglements with the law. But yeah, or we could. I mean, there's a lot of ways to create a distraction. Do a car bomb in a place where there's no chance anyone would get hurt. But then we'd have to find.
I mean, it's up to you. I'm just trying to spitball ideas to get you guys to a point, right?
Right.
I mean, we could spend the rest of this session brainstorming, but it'd be kind of boring, you know?
Tell you what, I need to run to the restroom. I'll be right back. And then if I don't have any better ideas...
bathroom break for everyone.
Yeah.
All right.
Okie doke.
Yeah, sorry for those of you who are listening, or whatever. I'm not trying to put pressure on the players. You know what I mean? But I think a lot of our past content has been just the pace has been murdered by taking forever to plan something out. Right? That's not to say everyone has to rush into thing half cocked. You know what I mean? But I'm just trying to urge, a plan that people can agree with, and then you just go ahead with it and adapt if things go a little bit differently. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just trying to, put some life into this.
Mhm.
Actually, you know what? Why don't we
Mhm.
go this route? And I'll repeat it for when Squee comes back. Because you're still here, Piph, right?
I'm still here.
Okay.
I
How
think
does
only
this
Squee
sound?
left for the bathroom.
Okay. So
I've been back for a couple minutes. I just didn't sleep.
Mm-hmm.
we could say that the rumor on the street is that the murders of Al Sweet and Mr. Hill were related somehow. And the word on the street is they are involved somehow. We don't know specifically, but we wanted to give you a heads up on our investigation. It might be a good idea because we're fairly sure you're going to his funeral, that you might want to check out his house. Just turn it upside down, see if there's anything connecting those two. And that's all we really need to say at that point. Like, point him in that direction and let him investigate it. What do you think of that?
That would be my preference.
Mhm.
I don't know how much this guy's in for due process though, because you can't just search a guy's house based on a rumor, or maybe you can.
Even in 1930s
Well-
land, you can't do that.
It's also a rumor from the Ferocious Five.
So yeah, I guess Lavin is just wondering how dirty this cop is going to actually be.
That's true.
Right? Because man, what
Yeah.
happened in the O.J. Simpson trial, man?
Oh my God! Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Not that we need a conviction, but the cop might be wary of that.
Well, we could also bring that up in that.
What?
Look,
That the O.J.
we-
Simpson trial didn't go so
no,
well?
no.
We're from the future. There's
God
this
fucking
guy
damn it,
named
man.
OJ. He got away with murder.
I didn't mean
because
that.
of shit like what you did. All right.
I meant like, okay, it would be a good idea to search it, but we don't want to search it because if there is any evidence, it might be inadmissible in court. You'd have to explain where you got it. So
Put the onus on him to come up with the reason to search.
exactly,
Good thinking.
Yeah.
we think it would be best at this point for you to search his place, and
Yeah,
then
the
when
guy
you search
might
his
be
place,
tired
find
of-
his place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the guy might be tired and desperate enough to find a justification.
Mm-hmm.
But that's his problem, right?
It's true.
All right. I think I heard Squee back. Squee back? No, Squee not back. Okay. But it sounds solid. I mean, it's a very Occam's razor way of approaching it, which works 100%. Really.
What's up? What's the Occam's razor right way?
Okay,
Go ahead, Burr.
so my idea is to just go, okay, look, where we've gotten to the point in the investigation where we kind of have to hand things off to you, in the sense of we have heard a lot of rumors. We talked to a couple of private investigators. They've helped us, and the rumor on the street is, we don't need to necessarily say that bits, but the rumor on the street is that Paul Hill and Albert Sweet, their murders were not a coincidence. They were connected somehow, and it seems like they were into some bad stuff together. I don't know specifically, but at this point, you have a connection in that you're going to be you're going to be going to his funeral. You should search the place. And the reason why we're telling you to search the place instead of us is because if we find something, it's inadmissible. But if you find something, you can use it.
Right.
Say something like that. Like, just point him in that direction and let him do whatever.
Yeah. Okay. I'm fine with that. I can muddle through.
Okie dokie, says Inferno. All right, so you guys have your general plan of distracting and appeasing Arthur Greene, the chief of police. Great, wonderful. You have his contact information to a private line anyway, so you know you can get a hold of him before the funeral. No big deal in regards to that. As far as the funeral goes, then, my only question is how you're going to dress, and if you're going to use your real names or just some fake names, and just be like your real names and be like well wishers, or use some fake names and be fake wishers.
Well, I mean, how certain are we that nobody that's seen us is going to be there? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because using
Well, you
fake
know
names is
that.
pretty risky.
Yeah, that is true. That is very true. You never know who you might run into.
Sure.
So fake names. Do you guys want to just dress up, and when people ask you your name, you just kind of come up with a name out of the blue? I mean, I'm fine for less planning, more role play, if that's fine by you guys. I can speed us ahead right to you driving up at the funeral reception.
Well, I think we need to figure out who's going. I'm pretty sure
Okay.
I'm supposed to be going. Who's going to the meeting? I'm thinking Al.
Yeah, I'm going to the meeting.
Okay. So
I was going to
would
meet
you
with
like to
Arthur
come with
Greene.
me, Lavin, or with Patrick, or should it just be me?
To the funeral?
Yeah, to the funeral.
Lawrence Carter suggested it's a big estate, so the more people looking around, the better.
Oh, well then yeah, then that's fine then.
Sorry, we're looking around. We're trying to find the statue as well as plant evidence, or
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. You want to get the statue? Yeah.
I guess I'm going. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Lavin's
would
going.
like to.
Tom's going.
I would like to dress fairly well. Not like, oh hey, flashy, I got a lot of money. Just normal attire for the period, and I would like to use the name Andrew Brown.
Oh, good old Andrew Brown. Okie dokie.
Mm-hmm.
Groovy. Piph, you still there? I see you're muted.
I'm still here.
Yeah, you're gonna come to the funeral as well, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right, then let's say you three gentlemen dress yourselves up and get ready to head to the funeral. The question is who's going to have the letters to plant, the fake evidence to plant at the estate? Who's going to have that in their possession?
Tom's got the best pro, yeah.
Yep, I'll do it.
Okay, great. Other question. Both to the meeting with Arthur Greene and to this funeral, are you guys taking anything other than your clothes and like your wallet with some money in it? Are you taking anything special with you, just in case?
I feel very comfortable with my ring.
Okay. Great. Good.
I'm
Anything
happy
else?
with.
Go ahead.
I'm happy with my necklace. But other than that, I'm good.
Well, your ISP necklace?
Yes.
Okay. How about you, Lavin? You gonna go to the funeral with your giant ass rifle?
No.
Your chick intervention? No. All right, fair enough.
A couple concealed knives and a smoke grenade.
Ooh, nice. Good.
I'm assuming it's not some monstrously large thing.
No, it's a grenade that just emits smoke. You're fine. It looks like a little bit more canister-like than a modern smoke grenade, but the size is the same.
Ninjas were using smoke grenades well before the 30s.
Yeah, they were. Sweet. Smoke bomb. All right. Cool. Groovy. You come across ninjas, you all die. All right. And how about you, Squee? You taking anything special to the meeting with Arthur Greene?
Just sharp, and my black light blade concealed.
Okay. Question the second before I set things up. Where do you want to meet Arthur Greene? Do you want to take him over to the Rhapsody to speak with him in private? Do you want... This is going to be happening... Oh my god, what is going on out there? Sorry. Freaking hallway, and there's some child at 10 o'clock at night just roaming around screaming.
As you do.
Anywho, where are you going to have the meeting with Arthur Greene?
The Rhapsody might be a little too like, why is he always going to the Rhapsody? So I would choose like an out of the way. Oh, you know what I would choose? That place where we went to go meet Dextalinity, that out of the way bar.
Oh, the Apple. Yeah. Cool. All right. Perfect. That's where you could get anything special. The funeral is there's going to be the actual funeral.
Hey, sorry guys, it's looking like it's turning robotic, so I jumped
Just
out.
give me a
Heard
moment.
full robot.
Hey, sorry.
I was gonna say that we heard him, but it just
You
sounded
never
like-
go full robot.
Yeah.
Yeah, most of it was audible. We got the gist of it. But
Okay. Anyways, all right. The point is that the actual funeral is going to be held at a cathedral in Velda City, then the burial over at the graveyard, and then the reception and well wishing at the estate. All right. Now, it's not uncommon, completely uncommon, for people to skip the church service and the burial and just well wish at the reception. However, and we're not going to role play this, so don't worry, it is less conspicuous if you're there at all three. So my question to you, we're going to start the scene at the reception regardless, but my question to the players infiltrating, for lack of a better word, would you go, full service everything just to kind of blend in with the crowd and get the vibe of people, et cetera, or do you want to just show up at the reception and kind of blend in with the crowd?
I'm thinking Tom at least should go full service.
yep.
Okay. Agree, Patrick?
Let's see. Yes.
Okay.
I think he has any particular ones to try to stand out.
Okay. All right, great. Good. So then my question then to you, Squee, is when do you want to call Arthur Greene away? During before he even goes to the church service? Well, actually, you'd have to.
Yeah.
You'd have to get in touch with him beforehand and set up the meeting. So what time do you want to set up the meeting, right?
So
Mhm.
my thought would be set it up not right before the funeral, but like the time is maybe a little after the funeral starts, so that he has to get there. We have the meeting, then he has to go all the way, to give a lot of time.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Makes sense. Perfect. Then what I'm going to do is just kind of do this chronologically then, right? We're going to do the meeting with Al, right? Then we're going to skip over the church service and burial and go straight into the reception. And if we hit towards the end of the session halfway through, then we'll just do that. We'll continue where we pick up, so don't worry about that. We'll just do as much as we can with the remaining time we got. So, you're able to, Al, you contact that phone, and sure enough, you are able to set up a meeting at the Night Owl bar about 15 minutes, 20 minutes before the funeral is to start. You make it clear that this is the only time you can, and you have to remain inconspicuous, and ask that Arthur Greene does the same thing. Is that fair? Is that a fair assumption as well?
Sure.
All right. The time arrives. Your companions get dressed, get ready with all the information that they need in their heads and in their possession, and make their way towards the cathedral in downtown Velda City. While they're doing so, you yourself get ready for your meeting with Arthur Greene. And there you are, setting up the scene in that dingy, greasy hole, the Night Owl Inn. You would probably enter 10, 15 minutes before the meeting itself to get yourself set up. So you're not arriving at the same time as Arthur Greene?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. You get set up, and sure enough, the large mustachioed bartender recognizes you, gives you a wry smile, and also gives you the convenience of a clean mug, one of the only few clean mugs in the establishment of a booze of your choice on the house, since you are mutual pals with Mr. Dex Delaney. Speaking of Dex, you do not see him at the establishment. He must be at his office or at home or at work. But you engaging in small chat with the mustachioed individual, it's quite clear that he saw Dex very recently, and he's just taking things easy for now, waiting to hear from you. Sure enough, alone, completely alone, this time not flanked by any sort of patrolman or anybody else that you can see, the lone figure of a very fatigued-looking Arthur Greene, who's looks like partially dressed in a suit. Instead of having a blazer or a suit jacket on, it's just his dress shirt. He doesn't have a tie on just yet, but looks like, the suit is supposed to have a bow tie on it, and a pair of black slats and fine shined shoes. He steps up to the bar next to you in a nondescript corner, make sure that no one else can listen in. He orders a drink, grimaces at the disgusting glass that it comes in, and decides that he doesn't want to drink anyway. Instead, he turns to you, Al, and he says, the message that you left said that this was very important. You have a major lead on my case.
Indeed. And he would motion him over to, a quiet booth in a dark corner.
Okay, you were already in a pretty nondescript corner, but you get into an even quieter, more nondescript corner.
Yeah, he's trying to make a show of this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He will sit down, he'll look around, and he'll say, so the first thing we started off with was the simple logic that there were two high profile murders on the same day, almost at the exact same time. Sweet and the mayor. This being a coincidence is too unlikely to consider. They have to be connected somehow. So we went hunting down leads for how these two were connected. Do you know what we found? Nothing. No mutual enemies that would conceivably try to kill them. No outside sources that connect these two together where some third party would want both of them dead. And we looked, which leads us to one conclusion. If these murders are connected and there is no third party involved, then there had to be something between those two. Maybe, and a very strong maybe, these two were out to get each other. It's no secret that they've butted heads before, sometimes quite publicly. Anything I'm saying sound amiss so far?
Mm-hmm. I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop, says Arthur Greene. You're leading me on your path. I'm wanting to hear what else you found out.
Well, basically, if those two were trying to kill each other, it means they worked together at some point in time, and probably worked together in a way they didn't want anyone to know. Now, Paul Hill would not keep incriminating evidence. He's the mayor. He's too high profile. He has too many eyes on him, which means that if there is any incriminating evidence of such a thing, it would be with Sweet, most likely in his manner, which is why I called you here at this time. We could go in there and we could look, but if we find anything, it's not admissible. You and your men have to find what's there. Letters, correspondence, something. There has got to be something there that links those two. It's the only option left.
Arthur Greene gives a sigh and he says, that's it? You don't have any of this proof or evidence for me? Just a couple theories you got?
Al leans back and he says, not a theory. The only possible outcome.
He says, no, it ain't the only possible outcome. The other possible outcome is that it was a coincidence, and 2 people died on the same night. Important, but one was a clear assassination. The other one looked like some sort of mugging or street stabbing. I'm not saying you're wrong, and a higher-up connection would explain why we're going nowhere, and the witness reports are weak, and nobody knows anything. A political stonewall does make some sort of sense, but you just came here to tell me that you think these 2 powerful people want to kill each other, and that if there's any evidence, it would be at his manor. Listen, I can listen to rumors all day. The reason why I asked your particular group is because you can be very easy with the law. So if you think it's at his manor, then go in and find it. Don't take it. Just find the location, confirm what it is, let me know, and I'll take it from there. A witness, anything more than speculation. Come on, I thought you guys were like professional vigilantes here. You put away the gin baron.
Al leans forward and smiles, and he says, I just wanted to hear you say it to be sure. You'll have, if there is something there, we'll contact you soon. Just understand that Sweet's a powerful enough person that we didn't want to start snooping around without you at least knowing.
Well, thanks for the heads up. He says, well, I'm going to be late for the church service, but I'll probably still make the burial, and I'll make an appearance at the reception, but I got a lot of fires to put out. So yeah, you got my blessing. Fine. You're good now. Go ahead. I already talked with your other companions, saying do what you had to do. I hope I'm not going to have to repeat this a 3rd time.
No, you won't. Next time you hear from us, we'll have good news. Or no news. One of the two.
All right, he says, and he stands up, and he says, and next time, pick a cleaner place, huh? I feel like I got 7 diseases walking into here.
Your call.
And with that, Arthur Greene gets up and leaves the Night Owl bar. Al, what is your plan now? Now that you got Arthur Greene's blessing to go snooping around, I suppose it wouldn't be strange for him to see you at the funeral, at the reception.
Actually, yeah, like maybe as he's getting up to leave, Al would be like, so, if you happen to see some of us there, pretend you don't know us.
He says, that will be easy to do. All right. I won't think anything of it. You're just paying your respects like all of us, right?
Al would nod. Good man.
Okie
and
dokie.
then he'll leave. Al will lean back and finish enjoying his drink in a clean mug.
Now, guys, I don't mean to leave you in anticipation or anything like that. But, because I have the estate and everything like that. But honestly, I would really like to... I only have just... It's kind of what I did with the Angus Mackenzie estate. Just a couple black and white photos or whatever. But I'd like to make this whole infiltration of his thing be a little bit more substantive and planned out and give you guys a little bit better production value. So if it's okay by you, I wouldn't mind ending the session a little bit early so I can spend the next week or so, planning things out. Maybe having some, encounters within the reception too, rather than us just checking off a bunch of boxes, having something a little bit more engaging. I know this is like a stall tactic, but I'm just wondering if you guys are cool with that.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Okay, great. Wonderful. Well, then we will wrap up the session and go. We'll see you again, I guess, maybe next week. Poor Squeepy won't be there for Rifty Riffs. It'll depend on the other. So I guess, Squee, maybe I will make it to the funeral. Maybe you won't. Maybe I'll NPC you as
Yeah.
per usual, but it won't be anything,
I mean, that might work out really well. Al's not there; he had the meeting.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Perfecto. All right. Well, until next time, my friendos, take care.
Yeah. Have a good night,
Bye,
guys.
everyone.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.